There is something profoundly wrong when our country in recent years has seen a proliferation of millionaires and billionaires at the same time as we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of any major country on earth. Not acceptable. There is something profoundly wrong when one family, the Walton family of Walmart, one family owns as much wealth as the bottom 40% of the American people. We're not talking about some small developing country. We are talking about the United States of America. This level, this grotesque level of income and wealth inequality is immoral, it is unacceptable, it is unsustainable, and it is un-American, and we're going to change it. We have a message to the billionaire class, and that message is, you cannot, you will not have it all. You are not going to get huge tax breaks when children in America go hungry. You are not going to continue sending American jobs to China and other countries when millions of Americans are in desperate need of decent paying jobs. You are not going to continue to hide billions and billions in profits in the Cayman Islands and in other tax havens. You are going to start paying your fair share of taxes in this country. The question that we must address and will address is, how does it happen that in an economy where we have seen a huge explosion of technology, so that most workers today are much more productive than they were 20 or 30 years ago, how does it happen that despite that increase in productivity, millions of people are working longer hours for lower wages? How does it happen that median family income, that family right in the middle of the American economy, has lost almost $5,000 in income since 1999. We are going to fight for an economy that works for working families, not just billionaires. And when we talk about the economy, let me throw some issues on the table here that many others do not talk about. Once a month, the U.S. government comes out with an unemployment statistic. It's the official unemployment rate. Last month, it was something like 5.3%. But the U.S. government comes out with another statistic, which is the real unemployment rate, including those people who have given up looking for work and the millions of people who are working part-time when they want to work full-time. That figure of real unemployment is over 10%. We've got a jobs crisis in America that we must address. Furthermore, and here's something that almost nobody talks about. I cannot understand why people don't talk about it. They don't. We have a major tragedy in terms of youth unemployment in America. Youth unemployment, not talked about. I asked the Economic Policy Institute last month to do a study for me on what real youth unemployment in this country is. people who are not working, giving up looking for work, working part-time. This is what they came up with. For kids 17 to 20 who graduated high school graduates, if they were white, 33% unemployed or underemployed. Wow. If they were Hispanic, 36%. If they were African American, 51% unemployment. This is an issue we are not going to continue to sweep under the rug. You got millions of kids here in New Hampshire and in my state of Vermont, all over America, hanging out on street corners. They don't have jobs. They are not in school. And if anyone thinks there is not a connection between that fact and the fact that we have more people in jail than any other country on earth, you would be sorely mistaken. And there are few things that I feel more strongly about than the need to invest in our young people in jobs and education rather than jail and incarceration. We do not want to live in a country which has more people in jail than communist China. We want to live in a country which has the best educated population on earth. When we talk about the economy, it's not just income and wealth inequality, it's not just unemployment. Well, we also understand that millions of people in this country are working 40, 50, 60 hours a week because their wages they receive are just too damn low. The vast majority of people who go to emergency food shelves are people who are working. Many of them are working full-time, but they are not earning enough money to feed their kids. That is wrong. And that is why we have got to understand that the federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour is a starvation wage, and it must be raised to a living wage. And that living wage over a few year period should be $15 an hour. I don't think it is a radical idea to say that if somebody works 40 hours a week in America, that that person not live in poverty. That is not a radical idea. When we talk about fair wages and decent income, I would hope that every man in this audience is prepared to stand with the women and fight for pay equity for women workers. There is no rational economic reason why women should be making 78 cents on the dollar compared to men. That has got to change. Sometimes I wonder how a single mom, can raise her kids. It is a task almost beyond comprehension.
Impossible.
That's right, it is. And these single moms who are fighting every day to raise their kids with dignity are the heroines of this country. Unbelievable. And the least we can do is make sure that they get equal pay for equal work. And when we do that, by the way, we're going to take a big chunk out of poverty in America and give them the resources to better bring up their kids with security and dignity. Now, here in New Hampshire, for better or for worse, you see a lot of politicians coming through your state. And many of my Republican colleagues who come through New Hampshire and Iowa and so forth, they often talk about family values. Have you ever talked about family values? They just love families. But all of you know what they mean by family values. And what they mean by family values is that the women of this country should not have the right to control their own bodies. I disagree. What they mean by family values is that women are not smart enough to be able to purchase the contraceptives they need. I disagree. And furthermore, what they mean by family values is that our gay brothers and sisters should not be able to get married or enjoy the other benefits of the American legal system. I disagree. I have 4 kids. You've met one of them tonight, Levy. I have 7 grandchildren, including 3 who live here in New Hampshire. Beautiful kids. And I have been married to my wife Jane for 27 years. We believe in strong families and family values, but our views just a little bit different than our Republican friends. When we talk about family values, what we mean is the United States should end the international embarrassment of being the only major country on earth that does not guarantee family and medical leave to all of our families. Today in New Hampshire, and today in Vermont, and all over this country, women are giving birth to babies. And every parent in this room knows what an extraordinary, unforgettable, momentous day that is. For the parents, it's a pretty big day for the babies as well. But here's the point. Here's the point. If that mom does not have sufficient funds, she's low income, working class, it is likely that she will have to be separated from her baby and go back to work after a week or 2 weeks. That is not a family value. That's the opposite of a family value. That is why I believe the United States must join the rest of the industrialized world and guarantee at least 12 weeks of paid family and medical leave. Furthermore, we are the only major country on earth that doesn't guarantee paid sick time or paid vacation time. We have got to end that international embarrassment as well. When people are working 50 weeks a year, they deserve at least 2 weeks off of paid vacation. When pollsters make telephone calls and they call up the American people and they say, what is uppermost on your mind? What are you thinking about? The answer almost always is a 4-letter word called jobs. Why is that? Because people understand how fragile, how volatile the economy is. They know that if you are 55 years of age and you walk into work tomorrow, your boss may say, well, sorry, Joe, you worked here for 30 years, we've got to let you go because we have somebody half your age who work at half your wages. Yeah. People are nervous. And if you're young, you know how hard it is to get a job, and if you have a college degree, how hard it is to get a job commensurate with your education. So when we have over 10% real unemployment, when youth unemployment is 30, 40, 50%, this country needs a massive federal jobs program to put our people back to work.